Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It's Monday, March 10th, 2014. Now, we've been reporting on South by Southwest, a huge cultural event here in Austin. And it's about music, it's about film, and it's about technology. And of course, the question is it reflecting technology, or is it trying to, or culture, or is it trying to manipulate that? Now, look at what happened this weekend at South by Southwest, where we had gun control groups say they're going to use social media to change the perception, the public perception, and win the gun control debate. Now, if we look at this article that we put up at Infowars, that picture right there is from the Guardian article. And it's credited to the guy who wrote the Guardian article. But that was actually on the Guardian lower down on the article. They didn't want to show you a picture like that one, where they couldn't even fill 3 rows of seats. They have 3 gun control groups. They've got Bloomberg's gun control group, Moms Demand Action, and another one, and they couldn't even fill up the seats in that auditorium. So they showed you this picture. Now, this picture does not have the credit that it was taken by Stuart Dredge, the person who wrote the Guardian article, like the other one did. My guess is that this picture doesn't look like it came from Austin. That picture where the group looks like it was perhaps supplied by the organization. This is the picture of the massive group that showed up that is going to take over social media. Now, we can laugh about that, but the way that they want to do it is Bloomberg silencing anyone who is for the other side of the debate on social media through places like Facebook. He's already met with Facebook, as reported last week, and they're going to start censoring anybody talking about guns, showing guns. They basically want to make it like some kind of dark pornography. If anybody has guns or uses guns or you see guns, you should be immediately repulsed and afraid of that. Now, there were other things that were happening at South by Southwest. Everybody is saying that the sleeper hit of the tech side of South by Southwest is Oculus Rift. Now, this is a virtual reality headset, and it has quite a bit more to it. Listen to this description from CNN. They say the visuals are built on a gaming engine. The booth's floor and walls are equipped with rumble packs that help to create the illusion of movement. A set of air vents complete the experience, flicking on and off to cool the temperature and give the sense that the wearer has exited an elevator into a howling wind above. And you have a full field of view that makes it difficult to not look over your shoulder, expecting unpleasant surprises, as they point out. And they say the possibilities are literally endless. Others say they wanted it to last for hours. People were complaining they couldn't get other people off of it so they could get a chance at it. Basically, what they've done is give you an endless game-playing experience that is so engaging that nobody wants to get out of the virtual reality into the real world. Well, you know what? Your life is not endless. You need to get out of the virtual reality and look at what's happening in the real reality. And the reality at this tech conference part of it is that what they're doing is they're selling this fun, trendy technology to you, and it's really a kind of enslavement. If I could come up with an analogy, it's kind of like the Pleasure Island analogy in Pinocchio, where these people go in and just play and play and play and essentially become enslaved jackasses. What they're offering you is the blue pill. And they're doing it in a variety of ways. They're putting these nice, shiny gadgets out there and telling you how wonderful they are and how you can't live without them, and how really the surveillance state is not all that much of a problem. On the one hand, they will have Julian Assange and Ed Snowden talk about privacy, and then on the other hand, they will offer you these things and talk about how great the surveillance state is. Look at the way Wired magazine is covering this. They have articles there that say, tech that tracks your every move can be convenient and not creepy. And so they show Disney here tracking people. And listen to this quote from the Wired article. While the ethical aspects can become a politicized, polarizing debate about the trade-off between privacy and personalization, see, they don't even call it surveillance, design will help us to navigate the many shades of control in between. You know what? There are no shades of control. You don't trade off your freedom for security. You just trade it off for enslavement. It's a Faustian bargain that they are offering you. And then they go on and they talk about why you should embrace surveillance and not fight it. And of course, this is by Kevin Kelly, one of the founders of Wired magazine. He says there's no stopping the surveillance state because too many of the benefits that we covet derive from it. He goes on to say, that there are specific boundaries that are set and enforced, need to be done in a kind of covalence. His idea is that since we cannot stop surveillance, we need to have something that he coins a term, I think, a transparent covalence, where everyone sees each other. Well, good luck with that. We've got a criminal class of people who are not paying any attention to any moral or ethical aspects, and it's not going to do any good to have some kind of a technological stopper on them any more than it's going to do any good to have a political convention, another constitutional convention. We have law, we have ethics, we have means that we need to control these people when they violate and break the law. And if we're not willing to do it now, technology is not going to do it for us. A constitutional convention is not going to do it for us. But listen to how he couches this. Listen to the subtle argument for tyranny that he puts out in the form of shiny new objects and a new evolved society. He says the self forged by previous centuries will no longer suffice. We are now remaking the self with technology. Ooh. Amplified covalence will shift society to become more social. And more importantly, it will change how we define ourselves as humans. There you go. We have some kind of a singularity where we should live life in a panopticon. And of course, in his view, that's going to be a good thing. That was really a natural thing. In his view, we lived as cavemen where we all saw everything that each other was doing. And we've had this little aberration of society where privacy came out. We need to get over that and move on to the next evolutionary stage, according to him. This is nothing but sophistry, but it's a very dangerous sophistry. Now, giving us another approach at the same conference where Julian Assange, listen to what he had to say. Here's a quote from his presentation via Skype. He said, "Human society has merged with the internet. The laws of the internet have become the laws of society, and the NSA's penetration of the internet has led to a military occupation of civilian space." You understand that? It's not just your individual privacy or your personalization that you get through surveillance. It is a military occupation of the internet. That's what the NSA represents. Ed Snowden went on to say that the Constitution was being violated on a massive scale. He said they are burning the future of the internet, and that is exactly what is happening. Now, Wall Street Journal Online pointed out that Snowden had 3 tips for digital privacy. This is an interesting article to read. I'm not going to go into it, but you need to understand that while we need to fight for our privacy with these people who are destroying it at the public level, we need to also do things on our own to take care of our own privacy, just as we do in the health issues. We try to fight to get the fluoride out of the water, but at the same time, we buy fluoride filters to make sure that in the interim, and if we don't win that battle, we still protect ourselves. So that's what he's offering you here, saying that you should encrypt your disk, use plugins in your browser to keep from being tracked online, and cover your tracks with Tor. So if you want to know how that works, Wall Street Journal Online has a good article about that. Here's what else he had to say.
Oversight models, audit models, these are things that are very complex. They've got a lot of moving parts. And when you add in secrecy, when you add in public oversight, it gets complex. We've got a good starting point, and that's what we have to remember. We have an oversight model that could work. The problem is when the overseers aren't interested in oversight, when we've got Senate intelligence committees, House intelligence committees that are cheerleading for the NSA instead of holding them to account. When we have James Clapper, the director of national intelligence, in front of them, and he tells a lie that they all know is a lie because they're briefed on the program, because they got the questions, a day in advance. And no one says it, allowing all the American people to believe this is a true answer. That's an incredibly dangerous thing, and that's the biggest failure. So when I would say, how do we fix our oversight model? How do we structure an oversight model that works? The key factor is accountability. We can't have officials like James Clapper who can lie to everyone in the country, who can lie to the Congress, and face not even a criticism, not even a strongly worded letter. The same thing with courts. In the United States, we've got open courts that are supposed to decide and settle constitutional issues, to interpret and apply the law. We also have the FISA court, which is a secret rubber stamp court but they're only supposed to approve warrant applications. These happen in secret because you don't want people to know, hey, the government wants to surveil you. At the same time, a secret court shouldn't be interpreting the Constitution when only NSA's lawyers are making the case about how it should be ruled on. Those are the two primary factors that I think need to change. The other thing is we really need public advocates. We need public representatives. We need public oversight, some way for trusted public figures, sort of civil rights champions, to advocate for us and to protect the structure and make sure it's being fairly applied. We need a watchdog that watches Congress, something that can tell us, hey, these guys didn't tell you that you were just lied to. Because otherwise, how do we vote? If we're not informed, we can't consent to these policies, and I think that's a danger. Right now, my thinking, and I believe the majority's thinking, is that the government has the ability to deprive you of rights. Governments around the world, whether it's the United States government, whether it's the Yemeni government, whether it's, Zaire, any country, they have police powers, they have military powers, they have intelligence powers. They can literally kill you, they can jail you, they can surveil you. Companies can surveil you to sell your products, to sell your information to other companies, and that could be bad, but you have legal recourse. First off, it's typically a voluntary contract. Secondly, you've got court challenges you use. If you challenge the government about these things, and the ACLU itself actually has challenged some of these cases, the government throws it out on state secrecy and says, you can't even ask about this. The courts aren't allowed to tell us whether this is legal or not because we're just going to do it anyway. That's the difference, and it's something we need to watch out for.
Many anthropologists and archaeologists believe that before man even discovered the power to harness and use fire, we were involved in agrarian activities. That is, taking the seeds of plants and then replanting them to produce more. The very foundation of our modern civilization and human culture is centered around the planting and cultivation of edible plants.
Here are some of the amazing deals at Infowars Seed Center at InfowarsShop.com.
The Survival Seed Vault by My Patriot Supply features only the finest survival heirloom seeds for a robust and hardy garden, even in the toughest times. We also have starter varieties of the deluxe seed packages for fruit, salad, salsa, peppers, medical herbs, and more.
Go to the Infowars Seed Center at InfowarsShop.com.
And remember, the revolution against tyranny is growing. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfowarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our immune support infusion blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfowarsLife.com.
Well, welcome back. Now, it's not just South by Southwest, but it's also CPAC that happened in the last few days. And of course, Rand Paul won there. And the New American has an article about his win and about his perception of what it's going to take to win. The day after he won the CPAC straw poll, he said a clear focus of the issue of privacy in the midst of America's growing surveillance state is necessary if the Republican Party is going to grow and win elections again. Paul said it's a message that can grow the party, and the party's got to grow bigger or we're not going to win again. Well, this is not simply about GOP survival. This is about the survival of America as a democracy instead of descending into tyranny. And he understands that. Look at the bottom of this article. He says, it may sound like I'm calling for the election of Republicans, but I'm not. I'm calling for the election of lovers of liberty. And he's heading to Berkeley, California to talk to people there about privacy. See, this is not a left-right issue. This affects everyone. It's an issue of liberty versus tyranny. And that's something that's going to draw people from both parties. Now, we had an article today on Infowars. You know who else collected metadata? The Stasi. Look at this article here. Now, they may have done it in a very crude, ad hoc way, kind of messy Post-its, but look at how similar these kinds of graphs that they are drawing to. They were trying to follow one particular guy who is a poet and a journalist, and they didn't like his opinions. Well, guess who else does that? Our government does that. Look at the way they do it, though. They've got nice, shiny, neat slides that they create where they look at, for instance, WikiLeaks as an organization. Looks very similar to that other one, doesn't it? They draw their organization lines out, their metadata, they see what the relationships are, then they focus in on one person. As we see, they focused in on Glenn Greenwald in this next slide here. Then we see that they can map the relationships to a whole lot of people. That's what they're doing. That's what metadata is about. It's about doing the same thing the Stasi did. And then look at this last slide here. There's your difference. Down at the bottom, you see this is all put together by 3 corporations. And they're pitching this, pimping themselves out to the military-industrial complex for a defense contract. That's the fundamental difference. Instead of it just being simply run by the government communists, it's being run by this corporate, fascist, militaristic synthesis of these two, of the government and these big corporations. But it's not just that. Look at what's happening in the UK. We've got doctors there doing exactly what they did in East Germany, what the Stasi got everybody to do there. They're turning Britain's doctors into snitches. As Paul Joseph Watson pointed out, doctors are being forced to become state snitches in order to spot, quote unquote, radical patients. That's exactly what the Stasi did when they made East Germany a nation of informants. He points out doctors in Britain are being forced to become state snitches and spot radical patients under a National Health Service initiative that threatens to cut funding if a GP practice fails to take part in the program. They're being trained to detect patients who are, quote, vulnerable to radicalization and then notify the authorities. Well, who are these radicals? Well, many people say, don't worry about it. It's just Muslims. Well, we've already seen that they've gone after people, children who are supporting UKIP, the UK Independence Party, one of the largest political parties there. We've seen that in America, it's not the Muslims. Everybody thinks that they're going to go after someone else. No, they will come after you. Anybody that disagrees with a threat, with a state, anybody that the state perceives as a threat, even if they aren't a threat, they will still come after them. Well, coming up right after the break, we're going to have a special report from Leanne McAdoo. She went to South by Southwest, and she asked people what their perception of privacy was after the Snowden presentation. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with that report.
The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs and then concentrated for maximum potency. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by Infowars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. For a limited time, we are offering 15% off Super Male Vitality at InfoWarsLife.com to introduce you to this powerful supplement. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality. InfoWarsLife.com. facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive Infowars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the info war at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
I'm here at the Austin Convention Center during South by Southwest. Edward Snowden is the keynote speaker now. We're going to go around and find out what people think the impact surveillance has had on the tech industry. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Very well. Where are you guys from?
Chicago.
Chicago. Glad to be here in Texas.
Yeah, there's sun, so that's nice.
Where are you from?
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Well, welcome. Are you enjoying Austin?
I am. Lots of fun.
Hey guys, how are y'all doing? Where are you from?
Here.
From Austin. Welcome. Are you excited about Edward Snowden being the keynote speaker today?
I think it's pretty cool, yeah, but I don't really want to be on camera.
You got glasses on. No one can see who you are. So are you all familiar with Edward Snowden?
Yeah. Yep.
How do you feel the information that he shared has affected the tech industry?
Ooh, very good question. I think it's made everybody more aware and more nervous about, before we were kind of pushing everything out. We didn't really care about what it was, and we would share what we're eating for breakfast. Now it's, I would say, more nervous and more cautious about what we're doing.
It's really unpredictable right now. I think that's why it's so interesting, because there's so many different directions in which it can go, and we struggle with it on the government level, and we struggle with it on a marketer level, and we struggle with it on an everyday consumer level with all, everyone putting their information out there through social media.
Are you much more concerned and cautious now while you're
I'm
doing?
not really concerned. I don't do anything sketchy on the internet, so I'm not worried. I don't know. I'm not really a private person.
Seems sort of like kind of a wonderful thing to have access to someone who's divulging so much important information. I think you're crazy if you're not concerned about privacy online.
You can interview my friend. Is that like, that's super techie, right?
Yeah, this is pretty intense right now.
He's got a film.
Are you guys going to the Edward Snowden talk right now?
No, I'm not, actually. I'm going to a film.
Are you familiar with some of the things that are being leaked by Edward Snowden about how much it's affecting society?
I'm not.
What? I don't know what the Snowden leaks are. Is that something that
What?
came to the WikiLeaks?
What am I supposed to say to that? Oh my goodness. You are not aware. You are building a mobile app and you do not know how this is how are you gonna protect your people that are gonna download your app?
Well, I just have to say thank you for keeping me informed. I'll probably have to do some more research and look into it.
Yes. Do you think people should have a right to privacy on the internet, or we should have internet rights?
The internet is, you can live your life without it. So buyer beware, right? If you want to use that kind of technology, it comes with that kind of a catch. And that's probably okay.
So you don't mind that you're being watched, like when you do yoga via the Xbox and stuff like that, or like your webcam photos are going to somebody at the NSA?
Yeah, I guess that is kind of sketchy.
I think it's really scary, and I think it's something that's really real that we kind of all need to think about in everyday lives, and we're so willing to offer up all of the information. I actually am a marketer by trade, so I understand how much we rely on that sort of information. So I think it's a really delicate balance.
The fact that the government is surveilling and that they are going to be monitoring electronic transmissions, I mean, that's something that we should be aware of, or we're naive.
Did you guys catch Edward Snowden at all?
Yeah, but
I don't want to be on camera though.
All right. How do you feel about the way that WikiLeaks gets whistleblowers' information out there versus how Snowden's information is being given to the public?
how I feel about the difference between how WikiLeaks did and how he did.
Yeah, all at once versus slow drips every couple of months.
It seems a little more responsible to do it the way Snowden's doing it.
I think if you're going to give it out, give it out. It's going to take, only look how long it took to go through the WikiLeaks, right? I think we're still going through the WikiLeaks stuff, right? Yeah. So someone who actually used to work for Homeland Security, I did a long time ago, information, if you just throw it out there, then let people decipher to bite what they want and kind of do it properly instead of filtering it through, giving time to people to change the message, so to speak.
As a, sort of a population, we have a really short attention span and a fairly short memory for even major events. I was talking to someone who worked on the legal team when the Enron affair was happening, and really things like that just disappear from the radar. People forget really sort of pivotal, important things. So the more persistence and sort of incremental growth of information he can provide, the better, I think.
I think it's just the beginning. I think it was just the opening of things that are to come.
As long as Americans continue to use tools that are developed by advertisers, then we can't expect to have privacy, right? So Google Chrome is the #1 browser. Google's an advertising company.
Do you think we're all just kind of being conditioned to just be okay with it and accept it?
No, I mean, you have an option to either use it or not use it, and you use it, you're putting yourself up at risk. So.
Well, what about all the people walking around with the Google glasses on?
I think those are silly.
Yeah.
So.
Can't opt out of that.
No, you can't, or just run away, I guess.
I feel like maybe people are a little bit desensitized now. Like, it seems that people should be outraged, but they're kind of like,
Yeah, I agree. It's a unfortunately evolution of this technology that we don't have control. We did not know where it was going to go.
Everyone's filming you everywhere. You can't opt out anymore. Well, it seems like this is just the beginning of what we've heard from Snowden. A lot of people agree with the way that it's being slowly leaked out. It keeps it in the news, but it's also a little bit more responsible in the name of national security, so people sort of understand that. But it also seems like a lot of people are really desensitized. 5 years ago, if you told them that they were being spied on through their webcam or via their telephone, they would call you crazy conspiracy theorists. And now that it's out and it's a fact, people are just kind of desensitized to it. So it remains to be seen what else we're going to find out, but it also remains to be seen how we're going to be able to react to this advanced technology and just the pace of technology.
Well, that's it for our news tonight. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. And the Infowars army is standing strong. Wake up your family, friends, and neighbors and break the matrix at InfoWarsStore.com. Learn the truth and spread the message of liberty with the world's most comprehensive collection of books and documentary films. Maintain a healthy metabolism and energize your body to perform at peak health with Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Protect your family and be prepared with survival foods and emergency preparedness kits. And now you can drink safe water with your own ProPure water filtration system, which removes fluoride and other harmful chemicals from your family's water supply. Save 10% with the promo code WATER. So join the revolution. InfoWarsStore.com.
You are watching the Infowars Nightly News, which airs 7 p.m. Central at InfoWarsNews.com. Members can share their passcodes with up to 11 other people, and your support is helping us defend liberty worldwide.